we don't know what b is, so we can't solve for it yet. Sine b, and then the negative sine of 3 pi over 2. So sine of 3 pi over 2 is -1 because it's that like lower 90 degree, not 90 degree angle. It's the one like opposite of the 90 degree angle, the reflection over the x-axis. So the double negative gives me a positive, so I should have +1. And we know that that's equal to 1 minus √3 over 2. Okay, the ones are going to cancel out in this equation. This thing is just what was on the right here. And so I need to find a b value that gives me, when I take the sine of it, I get -3 over 2, √3 over 2. Okay, so the places where I have negative √3 over 2 are down here, and it's going to end up being 5 pi over 3. So this just requires that you know your unit circle, basically. Okay. And that's that. Number 9, specifically, somebody had a question about 9 in general, and then another person had a question about how you integrate sine of e to the x. I could talk about how to integrate sine of e to the x, but this problem was calculator active, so I don't want you to even try writing out integrating that. Just do it with your calculator. I want you guys to start practicing that. So basically, I think it gave you, I wanted you to find the integral of the function sine e to the x between the function and the x-axis, which ends up being this stuff. And so we had to find this point. So we had to find when sine of e to the x was 0, and you use your calculator to do that, and you should get that x is equal to 1.14. So now we're integrating. Oh, it wants you to find the volume. I'm sorry. So let's see. You would be taking cross sections of this guy right here. Okay, so that's what we're doing. So we would have the integral, or pi times the integral from 0 to 1.14 of sine of e to the x quantity squared dx. Calculator active. Whip out your calculator. Delete all the stuff we had before. Sine e to the x, whoopsies, squared. And you could put the pi in front. You don't have to. I'm going to go ahead and do it so that I just get my final answer at the end. So I'd graph that. Okay, you would have found your root right here, and then you would calculate your integral from 0 to 1.14, and you should get 2.49 or 2.5. Okay, so about 2.5 units cubed. Okay, so that is that one. Make sure that goes well. Okay, then next is number 8. Number 8 was calculator inactive. And let's see, it was asking about finding the tangent line. The person who asked this specifically asked, how would you find the tangent line in this function? So I think it gives you the function f of x, 2x over cosine x. To take this derivative, you would use the quotient rule. So Hody Hi 2 cosine x minus Heidi Ho 2x, and then cosine, the derivative of cosine is negative sine. So this ends up being plus 2x sine x all over cosine x squared. Okay, so this is our derivative. Now our m sub t is going to be f prime of pi, because that's where they ask us to find the tangent line for. So I need to just sub pi in for everything, wherever there's an x. So 2 cosine of pi plus 2 pi sine pi all over cosine pi quantity squared. Okay, so now when I simplify this, the cosine of pi is -1, so I should end up getting that this all simplifies out to -2 pi. Yeah, because this ends up being 1. The sine of pi is 0, so this is just -2. Wait, shouldn't it be -2? Hold on. The sine of pi is 0, so I should just do this. I'm sorry. Oh, it is -1. 2 times -1 plus 2 pi times 0 all over cosine of pi is -1 squared, which is 1. So I should just get -2. I wonder if that messes up. Let me see what the solution. Well, then we have to actually find our. It's just that my old solution is wrong. That's the only thing. I got my y-intercept to be 0. Well, let's see what we get our y-intercept to be now. So we would have, we're filling in the function y equals mx plus b. So I need to figure out what, oh no, this is right. I see. Okay, now I need to figure out what f of pi is. So that is going to be 2 pi over cosine of pi, which is -1. So we get -2 pi. Okay, so I should get that -2 pi is equal to -2 times pi plus b. This was our x value, our slope, tangent slope, our y value. So b ends up being 0. So our function is y equals -2x plus 0. And that will be your final answer. Okay, only 2 more. Number 3. Is there any? Nope, nothing specific on number 3. They gave us a function. I think this was really similar. F of x equals 4x sine 2x. This was also not calculator active. So then we take the derivative. We have to use the product rule. Whoa. So first times the derivative of the second. And when I take the derivative of sine of 2x, I get cosine 2x, but then I have to multiply by 2. So this just turns into an 8. Plus second times the derivative of the first. So I get 4 sine 2x. Okay, so that should be my derivative. Now my MT is going to be f prime of pi over 2. So I'm going to have 4 pi times cosine of pi plus 4 sine of pi. Sine of pi simplifies to 0, so this whole thing goes to 0. Then cosine of pi is -1, so this ends up being -4 pi. So now, but this one asks for my normal line, so my normal function, or my normal slope is 1 over positive 4 pi. Okay, now I have to find my y value. This is going to be f of pi. So I should get 4 pi over 2 times sine of pi. And so this should give me 2 pi times 0. So this just gives me 0. So when I fill in my y equals mx plus b, I should get 0 equals 1 over 4 pi times pi over 2 plus b. So this means that my b is going to end up being 1/8. And my final answer is y equals 1 over 4 pi x minus 1/8. Okay, sweet. Last one that was asked about was number 5. Number 2, I think, was the one most asked about. So hopefully that one made sense. And I think that one was just hard because you were finding like a value inside the function. Anyways, number 5. That was all. a random tangent. This one was calculator active. When it's calculator active, it means you probably need to use your calculator. So it gives you that the velocity function is cosine of 3t minus 2 sine of t. You want to find position. So position is just the integral of this. Oh, I wrote dx, but I need dt. Okay. And so I should end up getting 1/3 sine of 3t, because if I take this and I took the derivative, I would have to pull out the 3 using the chain rule, but I don't have a coefficient right here, so I need the number that's the reciprocal of 3, so that they would cancel out to be 1, and then plus 2 cosine t. The derivative of cosine adds this negative sign, so we would need positive to make sure that negative stays. And then plus c. Now it gives us that s is 4 at t equals 0, the initial value, and so our initial position. So 4 should be equal to 1/3 times 0, sine of 0 is 0, plus 2 times 1, the cosine of 0 is 1, plus c. So this means that c should be 2 when all is said and done. Okay, this goes to 0, this is 2, so I subtract 2 from both sides. And so then s of 5 is 1/3 sine of 15 plus 2 cosine of 5 plus 2. When I put that in my calculator to figure it out, I should get 2.78 meters. Okay, and that will be my final answer. All right. That is that. This is probably a really long video, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop it. And I also already have what's it called? Oh, you guys are grading your test today, I think, as of now, yes. So I have a lot of video making to do today. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.